Patreon people. Jeremiah Morrill, Dakota Davis, Cade Koger, and Kent Benson are going to be here tonight for episode 105. This is the Patreon section of the show. Producer Chris Guffey is wildly trying to get the video started on the Patreon side.
Yeah. It's going to be weird because we have to use the YouTube feature
Ooh,
because
and then you have
Dakota will not. Yeah.
And Mevo is no longer letting us stream to groups.
Really?
Yeah. So just another reason we need to get away from Mevo's handcuffs.
So Kent, we're all, this is obviously not our primary job, right? This is a passion project or a fun thing we do. And some of the vendors we use, things just change on their own. One day something works, and the next day software updates, just like your cell phone, and all of a sudden a program is missing that you used to have or something. Every day is a little different for us. So we're going to be joined today by Kent Benson. We'll talk with him on the main portion of the show, but for now we just like to talk amongst ourselves, and we'll get to know Kent a little bit. Kent is a Newcastle legend. Played at Newcastle Chrysler High School. Mr. Basketball in 1973, and then you played for Indiana University. We'll talk about all of this in the main program. But and then Kent played in the NBA. So
played 11 years in the NBA and a year in Italy.
Played in like every team in the Great Lakes, right? Like you played except for maybe Chicago. You played for Milwaukee. You had Detroit. You had Cleveland
and Utah.
And the Utah. That's a different Great Lake.
Sure. Great Salt Lake.
That's right. That's right. You may be the reason why all the Jack's Donuts keep going to Utah. I don't know if you know it or not, but that's like their number 2 location. All of the Jack's Donuts franchises keep it open up over there.
That's fabulous. I tell you what, Jack's been a great supporter of us back in the day. His grandfather and his father, of course, and great to see Lee and his tremendous success.
It's fun. Yeah, we take a lot of pride in Newcastle. This show, we call ourselves East Central Indiana's favorite podcast, right? It's self-anointed, but who's going to fight us? But we micro-target Newcastle and Henry County. We talk about the stuff's happening here and things that we think are interesting.
Well, we got a lot of great things happening throughout Henry County and this area, so it's always good to know that you're promoting it and letting people know.
And we have people that listen from all over the country. It's amazing. One of our biggest Patreon supporters is a guy who lives in Hawaii. He visited here last year, came to Indianapolis. He toured I think he went to Churchill Downs. He may have gone out to the Speedway, and he checked out another podcast in Indy, and he came up here and saw the studio when we moved into it. And he said, his island in Hawaii is just like it is here, a relatively rural community, and the same issues and the same things that happen out there are happening here. It's a small
little
world.
Bit better weather, though.
Yeah, they don't have the snow, right? He doesn't need a snow shovel.
At least we don't have volcanoes here. No threat of volcano.
Limited risk. Limited risk. I did watch the old Tommy Lee Jones movie Volcano, and there were no volcanoes there. And the next thing you know, Los Angeles is blown up with volcanoes too.
Wow.
So
that's the movie world.
Yeah, I know.
You went to Washington D.C. this week.
I did. I went. So Kent is obviously the IU guy at the table, and I do some volunteering with Purdue Extension and the College of Agriculture. So every year with the PCARET group, I go with a delegation of people to Washington, and we go. We do a little tourism, and we listen to some speakers, and then we go meet with our congressional delegation on the Tuesday of the trip. So Sunday we flew out to Washington, and every time I go through security, I'm the problem, right? It's just my nature.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And we go through with a big group. You've gone through security or the airport with 20 or 30 people before.
Many times.
So you're joking with each other and having fun. And I go through the body imager now, and of course the machine goes off on me, and they turn you to the screen and you look at it, and the yellow dot is right on my junk, right? Like it's so the guy's like, well, now I have to touch you there. And he's like, I'll use the back of my hand, but I have to go inside your belt, and I have to touch you in the front and the back and whatever. And I'm like, after it's over, I'm telling one of the guys, I said, if this ever happens again, like when we fly back home, I want video, because I can get 10 years of mileage out of this video and this stuff happening.
Yeah, that would have been great. Good content to put on the Facebook page.
I just don't have these people trained to know what my expectations are.
That's good.
And then we've talked over the 2 years of this show. We tried to talk to everybody that was running for Congress in the 6th district. So Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. Luke Messer was trying to run for the Senate seat. We knew we were going to have an open race. We're like, on this show, we want to have everybody come through and have the conversation and give them the platform to talk to our listeners. And the one person, like our great white whale, was Greg Pence. He didn't know media at all, so we couldn't get Greg Pence. So we always go with Purdue and we visit, and we usually have success meeting. I met with Congressman Messer a few times over the years. So I was like, I'm really going to happen this time. And then the year this one happens, Congress is out of session this week, so they were not there.
Course.
So they weren't there at all. But I did get to see his office and checked it out. And he's got a lot of his brother stuff. Obviously, the vice president was our congressman previous to Greg Pence being there. And he's got all these pictures up, and he had a picture of Ralph Harvey up on the wall. Do you remember Ralph Harvey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm a history kind of guy, too. So when I was growing up at Blue River, we had a school sale, like a book sale, and I wound up buying his autobiography, a signed autobiography of Ralph Harvey's that I've still got. So, and I read it, and I thought that was cool, because he was our congressman in the 40s and 50s for this part of Indiana, but he's from Mount Summit, right?
Sure.
So he grew up here. So I pointed out the picture of Ralph Harvey to the assistant, and she's like, oh, well, these all came from Mike or whatever. They were all Mike's pictures, so when Mike was in Congress, all of these were on there. It was everybody that represented the district before him. So that was kind of neat. And then in his office, he's got this Marine Corps flag set up, but they've only been in for a couple of months. And before, you usually try to show up. Have you had a chance to go to Congress or visit Washington and all this stuff?
It's been years ago, of course,
Yeah.
when we won the national championship.
Did you get to meet President Ford?
President Ford, and got a tour of the White House, and it was a really neat experience, once in a lifetime opportunity.
I've not yet been invited to the White House. I need to do something special to make that happen. But when we go to
You can be like Forrest Gump and just get shot in the behind.
Yeah, I haven't been that lucky yet. So when you go, you usually try to go and make sure you know where you're going. You check it out 10, 15 minutes ahead. And then all of the freshmen, no matter who you are, the freshman congressmen normally have the worst offices. Like, they all get huddled together, and they've got the least likely. It's based on seniority.
Yeah, they got to pay their dues.
So basically
like
it's a
anything
lottery
else.
system. So if you're the 500th member of Congress, you're the 500th on the list. So Congressman Pence's office is in the Cannon building. There's 4 office buildings, and theirs is under renovation. So it's like a big circle or a big square, I guess, and one side of it is cut off. So to get to his section of it, you have to walk all 3 sides to get there. So you got all the way to the end, and there was really nowhere to sit down or anything. So I'm like, all right, let's just walk down to the end of it. We'll just go to the end of it and see what's there. You get to the end, and there's this office, and it's got all of these. It's very different than the rest. They're all visually the same. Like, they have the same placard, and they've got their flags hanging from your state and whatever flag, your American flag, your state flag, prisoner of war flag, something like that. But it's this representative from New York, and it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's become this sensation since she got elected from New York City.
The great meme.
And she's got these Post-it notes. There's all these Post-it notes people have put up, and they've kind of encouraged it. They've got Post-it notes sitting outside the door, and people have written notes, and some of them are supportive, and some of them are saying, socialism's terrible or whatever. It was entertaining, so I took my picture with that.
Yeah.
But, it was. So she's like 3 doors down from our congressman.
Really?
In the Cannon building, yeah. He's at 229, which is second floor, number 20. Or he's 222, and she's 229 or something in the Cannon office building.
That's so interesting, because Greg Pence obviously gets no media coverage at all. And what little media coverage he gets, it's because people saying the vice president's brother is a member of Congress. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you have AOC over here, who is blowing up every day. Every day her name is in a different news story.
Right.
Two totally different worlds that those two people live, but they have the same job.
Yeah. Well, and then seeing all those Post-it notes there, you don't end up there on accident. Like, you literally, she's the last office before you get to the construction zone, right?
So you have to walk. People just walk.
No, you don't walk by.
Might be the construction workers.
It could be. A lot of people had signed it. They were, their name in town and all that stuff. So that was cool. So I got my picture with that. I'll probably post some of those pictures in the Patreon group. I think I posted some on my personal one, but if you join Patreon, if you're listening to this, you are in Patreon. Yeah. We'll get them in there. So that was fun. So that's my Washington story.
Well, I didn't do anything cool this week. What about you, Cade?
I got Andrew Yang to tweet me back.
Oh, that's right.
That was kind of cool.
That's
You
really
got him
cool.
coming to the farm? Did you book him on the show?
He said it'd be interesting. He said it'd be fun. So
Andrew Yang is a 2020 Democrat primary candidate for president.
Yep.
And Cade Coger, our very own Cade Coger, got enough attention to get him to tweet at him on Twitter. So
When you,
if you can get him on the show, then Greg Pence has got no excuse as to why he didn't come here.
if he actually comes to meet me, I'm definitely going to pitch the show to him.
Yeah, for sure.
you were the reason that Trump got elected in Indiana. You carved Trump in your field, and the next thing you know, he won the election. So I feel like you really are the.
I could help him out.
You've got the juice.
Yeah, I'm the guy with the drone in the sky. All I gotta do is, all I gotta do is carve #Yang Gang in my field. He'll win Indiana.
All right. Well, that's enough of this. We'll wrap it up here. We thank you guys very much for helping us out and supporting us. I know Dakota's got some T-shirts. If you guys want to show the brand off, we've got some shirts in the store, and I think there's 11 of us in the NCAA bracket. So we'll talk
13.
about that there's 13.
Yeah.
Man, there's 13 in the group. So 13 Patreon folks in that group, cast members and everybody else. We really do appreciate you guys supporting us and try to have some fun. So
Sweatshirts are really cool too.
the $100 cash prize is coming straight out of Dakota's pocket. I'm very excited about
Yes.
that. All right, we'll see you guys on the other side.